All right, we are live. Welcome to the Confidence After Dark podcast. The main mission and focus of this podcast is to help couples learn to listen to one another, understand one another, and learn to create a healthy environment for their family using the power of femininity, intimacy, and vulnerability. So, on today's episode, I have a special guest. Her name is Arnetta, and she is the owner of the blog and lifestyle brand Mama's Insight. She is a wife and a mom of three beautiful children, and she has a variety of tips on everything from recipes to home style to home decor to lifestyle to motherhood and everything in between. Anything you need to help you create a beautiful, thriving environment for your family, you can find it on her blog at mamasinsight.com. I appreciate you for joining me on today's episode. Thank you so much. You are my first guest.
Yay, I'm excited I could do it.
You got this. It's really simple. So I wanted to ask you a few questions, and I want to start off with you just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Whew. I'm 27 years old. I'm a mother of three babies that I birthed, and then I have a bonus daughter. Me and hubby have been together almost 7 years. Next year will be 7 years in April. I've been a stay-at-home mom since I've had kids, and it has been a big adjustment. It's been, very rough because I was used to always working and I like to contribute, and was always trying to find a way to help and ended up finding blogging.
Okay, so why did you start blogging?
So a friend of mine, like 3 or 4 years ago, like, because I was always complaining, I hate not working and stuff like that. She was like, you know what I could see you doing? Starting a blog. And I'm like, no, I don't like writing. I hated the little 6-page essay they made us do in high school. Like, no. And I didn't know like everything that it consisted of. So I scrapped the idea for like 2 or 3 whole years. And last year, I don't know, it just came back to me and I was like, let me check it out. And that's it, just kind of went from there. And everybody was like, pick a niche, find you something specific and blah, blah, blah. But I felt like I'm not just one thing, like I am a mother, but I don't want to sit here and just write about motherhood because that's not all that I am. I do have other things that I love and that I'm passionate about. So I was a rebel and I didn't pick one niche, like I just did it.
Right, right. And I see nothing wrong with that because I'm pretty much the same way. I do speak a lot about motherhood and mental health, but I've started branching out and talking about different topics because it's just so much that, we do. Like, I feel like women, period, especially moms, are like multifaceted. So
Yes.
having multiple like passions, I can definitely see that. And I kind of was getting frustrated with the whole, um, you got to niche down and then you got to niche down some more, and you can only really talk about one thing. So I definitely get it. So is that why you provide a variety of topics on your blog? Which topic are you most passionate about, or are they all like equal?
Oh man. So I had asked my audience, like, well, what blog post did I do next week? And everybody's always like, self care, self care. Self care seems to win by a mile. And it has, I've been doing it so much for everybody else. Like, it seems like now it's my favorite thing. So,
Right.
which is self care is very important. I've neglected myself for years after I had my kids. I it just was take care of them, take care of him, make sure everybody good, and there was nothing else for me. And so like it took me a while to be like, girl, you are still a human being. Do something for you. Like, so it took me a while, but self care is definitely probably my favorite right now.
Okay. So Can you give us like some self-care tips? Because I'm all about self-care too. I was neglecting myself. I was living for everybody else. So I'm definitely a big proponent of self-care. Like, what are some of your favorite self-care tips that you could give a mom right now?
Oh, my favorites. So for moms, you have to find windows. I mean, it is hard to go through and be like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And you got to find openings when you can have your self care time. And really, it just goes based off of what you like and what makes you happy. Like, I love to read. So whenever I get a window, I'll read, or I like nature. I'm not a morning person at all, but when I do get mornings to myself, I'm outside. I'm outside by myself listening to podcasts or whatever it is that I want to do. Like, you just got to find something that makes you happy. I don't care if it's skincare or playing a violin, if that's what you're into. So, like, you just got to find what works for you.
Right, right. Because everybody's interest is different. So, and I feel like it's a journey, like figuring out, what you like, especially if you lost yourself along the way. um it could be frustrating. A lot of women, a lot of moms feel like, I'm not passionate about anything, I don't know what I like anymore. But it's about the journey of discovering who you are right now in this moment, as a new mom and as a wife and things like that. So you just got to be open to trying anything, like everything, and just going from there. Like, okay, this is my thing, this isn't my thing, but this is my thing. Because people will throw a bunch of suggestions at you, but you don't know if you like it until you try. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that. Especially that you get out into nature. They say that's really good for your mental health too, like keeping
Yes.
yourself grounded.
Yes, for sure. We have a dam here where I live. It's about 10 minutes away from my house. And you have to go through the struggle. Oh my God, because there's woods and a hill, and you gotta climb that hill, and it's so steep, girl. But once you get to the top, you see like this beautiful lake view, and it's so worth it. And I could spend hours out there. I absolutely love it.
That sounds beautiful. I don't think I've ever been to a dam. I've been to the beach.
I've never been
Never
to a
been to like
beach.
a lake. You've never been to the beach?
Oh
Oh my
man.
goodness. Now a beach I can get with. I love the beach and I just love being there. I don't necessarily like swimming in the ocean, but I just like being at the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been wanting to go so bad, and everybody's like, "You don't swim." I'm like, "So I just want to lay down and drink my margaritas and
Right.
be great."
Hearing the ocean and just being in the scenery is just relaxing enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, um, has your life changed since becoming a mom? I know you talked about, rediscovering yourself, but just how has your life changed since becoming a mom?
Drastically, because I had this little dream fantasy that, my kids were going to be sweet little quiet angels, and they absolutely are not. They are the complete opposite. They are loud, they fight. I mean, so it was a really strong adjustment because two of my kids were born in the same year. They're 11 months
Mm,
apart. I had one in January, one in December. And
mm,
I didn't really, get to bond with both because I mean, it was so much at one time. So
yeah.
that was a big adjustment. And once I had my last baby, Nori, 7 months ago now, I was at the time it was horrible timing. He came along at horrible timing, and we had already decided that we were done, and it was just so much going on. But at the same time, I was excited because I'm like, well, the girls are in school now. I'm gonna get to actually bond with this baby. It's just me and him every day. So like I was really, really happy. But it is a adjustment, it's work. My house is it's upside down every day. So I mean, it's a mental adjustment. Like you gotta, it's not just you'll get the hang of it eventually. It's always a curveball. Like you just kind of gotta go with the flow. Like my hubby, he he will cut that phone on vibrate, and it makes me so angry. And I'm like, first of all, if there's an emergency, we're just done for because you do that. But it must be nice. Like, I cannot have my phone on vibrate ever because the fact I'm a mom 24/7. You never
Yeah.
know who's gonna need something. So like, I can't do that, and you shouldn't do that because something could go wrong.
Right.
But it's just a never ending process. Like, your mom till you die, and that's just it. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's hard, but it's a beautiful thing.
Right. Right. I know you mentioned it was also kind of like a struggle adjusting to being a stay-at-home mom. So, what made that difficult? I think you mentioned, you know, not being able to work.
Yeah. So beforehand, before kids, I was working. I was always two jobs, and I've always
Okay.
had, like, I was very, very independent. But
Right.
once got pregnant with the first baby, I was having complications with her, and sure enough, she ended up being born 3 months early.
Mm.
She came out 1 pound 8 ounces.
Oh.
Yeah, and after that, I found out I was pregnant again, and so like it was
Mhm.
so much stuff going on at the time, and my stepdad had gotten in a wreck and he ended up paralyzed, so I was having to take care of my kids plus go over there and help my mom with him while she was at work, and on top of that, daycares are expensive, and on top of
Mhm.
that, it's so much that goes on in daycares. We just never felt comfortable doing it, so
Right.
we just said I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and it just kind of went from there. I mean, it was a struggle because I felt like I went into like a depression state. Like, I felt like a bum.
Yeah.
I felt like, like
Yeah. Like
there's
you were a failure, like
yes,
you weren't contributing.
yes, and it was stressful. So I mean, I was busting my behind at home trying to find stuff to do. I went through like two MLM companies. I was doing Uber, DoorDash, or whatever the case was when he was off work. I mean, I was trying. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely an adjustment.
So how did your husband feel about you being a stay-at-home mom?
My hubby, he he's great. He has never not once asked me, "Hey, you need to get a job," or anything
Mm.
like that. Like, he's always
Oh,
been
him,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he's always been open-minded. Like, and when I would stress about not helping, like, he'd be like, "Calm down. It's okay. I got it." But where he lacks, I would pick up. Like, when his job closed down, um, they closed down, sold the company or whatever they did. I told him, I said, "Look, take a break." They were giving him unemployment. I said, take a break. Don't find nothing just yet. Take like a month off or something. I said, I will Uber my behind off, and whatever unemployment don't cover, I got the rest of the bills. I'm going to Dallas and Fort Hood, and I'm going like, and it will be days. And like for Uber, if you don't hit a certain amount of, or however it works, like they won't tell you where you have to go. And so I would be like, babe, I'm gonna do this last ride and I'm on my way home. And then the last ride is to Dallas. I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
I call him like, well, Wingstop is on me tonight. He's like, why? I'm like, I gotta go to Dallas real quick. But I mean, we make it work. We work together. We, just go with the flow and do what we can. But he never has just been like, hey, I need you to do this. So he's very supportive no matter what I do.
Right. And that's good. So it sounds like that has really like helped you adjust, right? And not allow you to like stay in a depressive state, having that supportive partner who's like, I got us. You don't have to stress yourself out. I mean, if you want to do it, do it, but you don't have to do it because,
Yeah.
I always got your back and I'm gonna support, you and the children. That I feel like that feels so good when you got that type of support, especially from the person that you made children with.
Yes, yes, especially, and also like going from like if you've had a rough life growing up and you felt like nobody ever had your back, and then you get with somebody like that, it's absolutely amazing.
Right, right. So, did you grow up with a single mom?
Yes. I mean, kinda.
Mm,
They were
mhm.
married, my mom and my dad, they were married, until about I was 9 years old, and then they divorced. And we were originally from Dallas. And so after they divorced, she moved to Waco, and that's how we ended up here. And so, I mean, she was a single mom, but she would date and things like that or whatever. And then around the time I was like maybe 14 or something like that, she met my stepdad, and they've been together ever since.
Okay, okay. So did seeing that, like, your father in the household and your parents married, do you feel like that had an impression on you, like, wanting to get married and creating a stable family?
At the time, I never thought about it. I did not think
Mm,
about it while I was younger. Once I got older, when maturity starts kicking in, I'm like, I want a family, and I want a really big house and these sweet kids and a great husband. And obviously, life just doesn't work out that way sometimes. I went through a lot of heartbreaks and a lot of tears and some everything.
yeah.
I was even told that I couldn't have kids.
Oh,
And then, like, 3 months later, got pregnant.
oh my goodness. By a doctor?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's like I keep hearing that story where it's like people are like, they told me I could never have children, and then they have them like boom, boom, boom. Like, so
Yep.
it's like, what are these doctors looking at?
Yep. So I don't know. I was
So
excited.
how did you and your husband meet?
We worked together.
Okay, what did you do?
Girl, we was working at Whataburger. It's
Whataburger?
yeah, it's a Texas thing. But it's a burger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
burger place.
I've never been to Texas, so yeah, you got to get me hip.
Yeah, it's a Texas thing, girl. But we were working at Whataburger. He was a manager there, and I was just a regular associate. And one day, I had never really looked at him like that, but apparently he had his eye on me the whole time. But one day we were all about to get off work, and his friend goes, "Hey, what are you doing when you get off?" And he was like, "Oh, me and Arnett are gonna go have drinks." I'm like, "We are,"
Really?
and I mean, it just went from there.
Mm,
Yeah. So I
that was
mean,
bold. He made his claim.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. I mean, it was a rocky start because there was some other situations going on at the time, but I mean, eventually we figured it out.
Mhm. Mhm. And here you are.
Yes.
So, what are some challenges that you two have like had to overcome? Um, not just, in your relationship, but also like being parents. Are these his first children or your
He
first
has
children?
a he has a 13-year-old from before me, so that's my bonus
Okay.
baby. But other than that, it's just her and our kids. So, um, for let's see, how do I say it? For relationship wise, our biggest challenge is communication. It's
Hmm.
it's a big challenge.
What
I
about communication? Like, what are some challenges in the communication?
like finances is one thing because of the fact, so like obviously he's the breadwinner. But I'm the one who's always trying to stay on top of the bills. And if I'd be like, hey babe, um, this is gonna come up, and he'll be like, okay. I'm like, okay, what? Like, oh, you're not saying anything. And it, oh my God, it frustrates me so bad. So like it's mainly finances, but as far as like with me, I have a whole lot of walls still built up that he's trying to slowly knock down. And I mean, it's the same vice versa for him. And like, but he's one of those people, he's very patient and he tries to actually talk about things. And I'm like, I'm good, but
Uh-huh.
I'm fine. And he's like, oh my God, can you just talk to me? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Which I have slowly been trying to learn not to do that. So that's one of the biggest problems. But there's a secret that has been working for us. But so that's one thing. As far as the parenting part, he's a softie. He's a big softie with those girls. Oh my gosh. And like I try to keep them.
Ladies, girls.
Yes, I try to keep them on a bedroom routine, and his shift rotates. And so like when he's on a decent shift, I'm like, hey, it's time for them to go to bed. He's like, I mean, I've been at work. Just let them stay up a little bit. I'm like, they need to go to bed. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with this when you throw off their sleep. And
Mm.
my son, oh my God, you just can't win with him now because that's his only boy. So now he's just over the hills, and he's just, you know, he's a sucker. Now me, yeah, now me, my problem is the disciplining part. My
Hmm.
problem is the disciplining part. And he's like, you have to put your foot down. And I'm like, look, if I'm here in this office and I'm trying to focus and stuff like that, I'd be like, sit down. And they know how to get me. Like they know how to get me. They know like she's in there. She's not. We can fight all day if we want to. Like that's what they
If
do.
I can ignore you.
Yes, they ignore. Yes, they ignore me to the fullest. Now, if I'm in there and I'm present,
Yeah.
like they know.
Different story.
Yeah, but if I'm working, they know they can just. Oh, they
That's
are.
crazy.
Girl, yes,
My
is.
children do the same thing. Every time I get on the phone, they just all of a sudden pop up like
Yep.
little magical puppets and just
Yep.
making all this noise. And I'm like, y'all were not making all this noise before I got on this phone.
Yep. Yep. So those are our biggest, yeah, relationship and parenting wise. That's about it. But other than that, it's pretty smooth. Like he's great. He's very patient. He'll do anything in the world for you. Like so, it's not too bad.
Right, right. Yeah, that sounds really nice, really peaceful,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, until it gets ugly, and then then
Ah,
it gets.
well, that's normal. That's life. Like, you can't just not argue because, things got to get solved. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like things got to come up and they got to get solved somehow, you
Yep.
know. So, man, what will it take to bring those walls down? What do you think?
Uh, I mean, I'm working on it. So, like I said, I have a secret. And it's funny that we decided to do this podcast because I was actually about to do a blog post on it, which is coming out Wednesday. So, what I started doing, so I've never did this with any other guy, any other relationship, and apparently it works because I'm still with this guy. So, I started like when we were going through a very, very, very rough patch, I was looking up stuff like on YouTube and Pinterest and stuff, ways to fix the relationship, blah, 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 blah. And I came across this post that was like, relationship questions to ask your partner. And I was like, that is a good idea. So I started this thing called check ins. And it's where I'll type it out or I'll write it out and I'll write down like a certain amount of questions. Do you love me? Have you cheated? That might be something I want to know.
Mhm.
How do you think our relationship is doing? What do you need from me? Is there something that you're missing? Or, questions like that. It's normally about 9 to 10 questions. And I'll create 2 pieces of paper with the same questions. And he'll get a pen, I'll get a pen. We'll write the answers down and then we'll give them to each other.
Mhm.
I never pick a day where we're having a bad day already. I wait until we're having fun, like we're playing cards and, having a couple of drinks and we're okay. Everything is going
Yeah.
smooth. I do it then. I never do it when we've been fighting or nothing. I don't. And we answer the questions, we read each other's answers, and then we talk about it. And coincidentally enough, we did this right last weekend. And then here you
Mhm.
go with the relationship podcast. And I was like, oh, that's perfect timing.
Oh.
so for example, the one that we just did,
Mhm.
I was like, do you love me? He was like, yes, very much. I said, how do you think our relationship is doing? He was like, it could be better. And I asked him what he was needing from me. Is there something I could do more of? And he said to be on my side and consider what I have on my plate. And I had to stop him. And I was like, look, I want you to know something. We might not do everything the same way. We might not agree on everything and how to handle certain situations, but that does not mean that I'm not on your side. I'm forever on your side. And
Mhm.
like, I think it like, kind of hit a nerve with him because he kind of got a little sensitive on me. And I was like, I want you to know that I'm always on your side. We're just different people still. We love each other. Our birthdays might be on the same day, but we are still different people. So like I had to explain that to him. And then we got to talking about the blogging, and he was like, I brag on you all the time. I tell everybody I'm not gonna be the breadwinner. She is, because I see how hard you work and I believe in you. And I was like, now that I didn't know, like, like I almost cried. So, like, and the next day, because like I said, we've been bickering back and forth. So the next day after we did the check-in, all the babies.
I'll be right down in a second. Oh my goodness.
I'm good. And so yeah, we have been bickering up until we did that check-in. Um, and after we did it, I mean, this week has been amazing. Like we're good, we're happy. It's like
Yeah.
weight has been off our shoulders. And the key is to try to do this like every about 3 months. Don't go a long time without doing them and then let things build up and y'all been fighting and fussing and stuff like that, which is what I did. At first we were doing them like every 3 months. And
Mhm.
now this last one, I think it had been like a year because I was pregnant and all this stuff was going on, and we just haven't did them in a long time. And we've been going at each other's throats lately. And so I was like, you know what, enough is enough because it's gonna get ugly. So like
Yeah.
we had to
Time
do
for a check-in.
yeah. So I mean, ever since we've done it, we've been great.
I like that idea. I really do, and I'm gonna steal that. So whenever you drop that blog post, let me know so I can read it and then I can share it because I really like that idea. Kind of do it randomly, and I don't ask like so many questions, but I'll every so often, just ask, how are we doing? Is there something you need? Um, is there something else that I can improve on? But my husband is pretty vocal. So I don't really have to ask, if there's something going on or if there's something wrong, he just automatically like tries to nip it in the bud and he'll say something about it. Me on the other hand, I do kind of like let things like build up before I say something. So that's something that I'm trying to work on, like saying it right then and there. So, because then later on it's like he forgets and then it's like, why are you bringing up old stuff? It doesn't be old to me. Like it just happened
On
yesterday.
my mind, yeah.
Been on my mind. Like I gotta get this off my chest.
Yes.
So yeah, just trying to nip it in the bud a little sooner.
Yes, and God forbid you do the text message and then you get everything out and then y'all are fine and then you think about it and you're like, and another thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and then you just started right back up. So
Say
I
this. So let's go back and say this.
yes, yes. I'm just like, you know what? Let me just leave it alone.
Exactly. Like I'll just be quiet because I'm gonna go there. And I don't want to go there right now.
hmm
Oh my goodness, but I really like that idea. Um, so yeah, definitely when you drop that blog post, let me know so I can start implementing that. Doing
Yeah.
a check-in. And you say you do it every 3 months?
hmm
Every 3 months. Okay, I like that. Um, so how do you come together when it comes to parenting your children, like since you have different parenting styles?
for the most part, like when he's home, on like a regular shift, so he works 7 to 3s and 3 to 11s,
Mm.
and I hate the 3 to 11s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little rough because I'm home by myself, and I mean by the time he's home, the kids are asleep and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But while he's on 7 to 3s, like this week and next week, we're gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
They they are daddy's girls, and so like right now everybody's piled up in the man cave, and like they like they like Marvel. He's gotten them on Marvel, so now it's all about what's her name, uh, Wonder Woman and the other lady with Scarlett Johansson, whatever her
Oh, okay.
name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Husband got me on that too. I never was a comic type of person, but he got me watching Marvel. He got me watching Game of Thrones. He got me watching Lord of the Rings. I'm like,
Yes.
he got me.
Yes. I'm not a scary movie person like at all. Like I hate it, but and that's just one thing I don't think I'm gonna budge on. It's been almost 7 years now and I'm not with it. Like he wanted to go see Black Phone so bad. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'll go, I'll go, I'll go. I'm not gonna be happy about it, but I'll go. But turns out it was so good. And it's not scary. We've watched that movie like 7 times now since it came out. It is good. Yes.
Black phone.
Yes.
Never even heard of it.
It just came out like maybe a month or so ago. It's good.
Is it on the streaming yet?
We rented it off Prime.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we went to the movies to see it, and then after that, we wanted to watch it again, so we rented it off Prime. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's good. But he'll cook some days, and I'll cook some days, or we'll just order something some days. It really just depends on how we're feeling. But he's very good about keeping them while I work if he's home, and he'll try to keep them out of my way. Like right now, it's quiet. The only person who
Yeah.
might hear is my son, and that's just because he fell asleep in the swing before I could take him to the back with them.
Right.
So if he wakes up, he'll come get him. He doesn't mind giving the kids a bath. If I'm just tired, he'll give the kids a bath. I mean, we do good together. We do
Mm-hmm.
very, very
Mm-hmm.
good together. He's a very great father. I cannot take that away from him ever. Like he's a great father. As far as my stepdaughter, that child is 13 going on 30. But
Right. In
yeah,
that stage.
yes, but that is my baby. Like she'll call like my they are all big gamers and I'm a gamer too. And she'll
Mm-hmm.
call. She lives way in Fort Worth, but she'll call and she'll be like, "Do you want to get on the game with me?" And I'm like, "I'll
Aww.
get on. Since your dad's at work, I'll get on." Like everybody gets along. Like we make it
Yeah.
work. So yeah, I mean, we're not too different when it comes to parenting. We kind of coexist. But then there are some times where he's a sucker and I'm a sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but it goes smoothly for the most part.
So did you discuss like roles beforehand or did you both like just ease into it like
No, we just went with the flow. We got our first apartment together, and it was whoever decided to do what, or if I needed something, you can help me. If you need something, I'll help you. So I mean, it just kind of naturally happened. Like it was seemed
right?
like it was just like supposed to meant to meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, because you said you have the same birthday.
Yeah,
So when is your birthday?
August 16th.
Yo,
What is yours?
the 22nd.
Oh my God, my dad's is the 20th, and my stepdaughter, hers is the 19th.
Oh my goodness. So you are like surrounded.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Like my daughter is a Leo too. Like, um, my second child is a girl, and then my third child is also a girl. Baby number three, baby girl, she's a Leo too, but she's July 31st.
Oh, okay, okay.
And she's a little she's different. She's still like me, but she's way more like extroverted. She's way more like extroverted, um, very friendly. I mean, I'm nice to people, but if I don't know you like that,
Yes, that is me.
you know me. Whereas she is like she could just get along with anybody. Everybody
Yeah,
that she
she would go
meets is
look for
like a
people.
new best friend. Yeah. But it's so sweet. Like I call her my little sunshine because she just has such a sunny personality. Like honestly,
Yes,
um,
yes.
love us.
Yeah, my kids are the same way, and I feel bad, but like I be telling them stop talking to people because like there are those people that just are just mean and like they
Yeah,
will literally not speak to a baby who is saying hi to them, and it makes me mad. Like,
me
don't
too. I don't like
bring the
that.
crazy out of me. You heard my baby say
You
hi.
my baby.
Yeah. So I have to tell them just stop. Everybody's not nice, you guys.
Right, right. Yeah, I be having to tell them the same thing. Like we don't know them; they are strangers, and
Yeah.
they're like, they be looking at me like, "What's a stranger?"
Yep. Oh my
Like
goodness.
stranger danger. But yeah, they are just. It's not like I asked for it though. I was like, I want children that have a lot of friends and are outgoing. And it's like I got it. And now it's like I gotta kind of like tame it a little bit because this world is crazy.
There it's a mess nowadays. Yes, it is. It is a mess nowadays. Can't trust people, and it's just a mess.
I don't think I've ever been with I was, but it wasn't like a relationship with like another Leo male. And
Hmm.
he got on my nerves. The arrogance was too much for me.
Yeah. So, what sign is your husband?
He's an Aquarius.
My son's an Aquarius. How are they? I'm nervous.
Mm. When you say it's a struggle, I'm gonna say it's a struggle bus.
Oh my
Are
goodness.
like opposites, not only like personality wise, but even in the astrology realm. Like some signs are like opposites. We are the opposite signs. Like Aquarius and Leo are opposite signs.
Oh
And
wow.
so we just think different. We act different. We believe different. It is rare that we like agree, but then it's like we agree.
Mhm.
Like it's like we may have different views, but then when we boil it down, it's like we're able to like just agree to disagree and still come together
Yeah.
and get the job done.
Hmm.
But he I will say that Aquarius men are very smart. Like that's what I fell in love with, like his intelligence. The fact that he was very different. He didn't think like anybody I ever met. And to this day, I still haven't met anyone that really like thinks like him. Like he thinks outside the box. Um, he thinks about people as a whole and he just wants people to win. Like he's very like supportive. Like I want all of us to win. You know what I mean? Um, and so I love that about him. He's very supportive. And sometimes I be having to slow down and tell him that I appreciate that. Like I appreciate you so much for
Hmm.
supporting me, even in my darkest days when I'm being a brat, when I'm got my attitude.
Yes. Oh my God. That was me. Like when I was redesigning my website, I was like, "Are you okay?" No, I'm not okay. He's like,
Right.
"I think you should just take a break." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, fine."
Telling me the same thing. And I'm like, you're not helping.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to hear that right now. But
Yep.
just supporting me through all of it, like regardless. He we can argue and he's just like, cool. Like, and I'm like holding on to it, like just let it go. It's we all right. We good. And
Yeah.
I love that about him. I feel like we need that. So there's not like a whole bunch of grudges being held and we have never been able to stay mad at each other more than 24 hours.
Oh,
Like, and it's been 9 years.
yeah.
And
Well,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Except for when I was pregnant, I was so mean. I'm always mean pregnant, but ever since then,
say I'm mean while I'm pregnant. And which is crazy because I hear that from women all the time. But me when I'm pregnant, like my patience gets a little thin, but it's like I'm just the same.
oh
I'm
wow,
just
I'm
the
mean.
same.
Yeah, I'm mean.
But yeah, the only thing that I don't like though is that we disagree um on a lot of issues, and um he is a little arrogant. Um he can be a little mean sometimes, but all in all, I feel like it's manageable. Like we don't have those what I call serious issues,
Hmm.
like cheating and lying and you gambling away the rent money and you're not taking care of the children and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or I'm getting random phone calls and you on the chat line. I be hearing all types of crazy stuff.
I
And I'm
know.
like, thank God I don't have those issues.
Girl, yep, because I've been there too many times and I'm just like, this man here is a breath of fresh air.
Right, right, exactly. And we just gotta appreciate them. Like I just be having to slow down. Like, okay,
Yeah. Mine, he'll catch it.
regardless of the problems, we are
Hmm.
good.
Yep, mine, he'll catch an attitude every now and then and he'll just like snap on me. And I'm like, hello. First of all, you don't act like this. You are the sweetest little patient. So I said, what you're doing is my job. Fix
Right.
your
You're supposed to be the good one.
Yeah,
I
don't
need
do
you to
that.
stay the good one.
Yes. Oh, he'll try it, but I don't go for that.
Right. Yeah, that's something I definitely like had to work on, like my attitude and not snapping on every little thing. Um, it's gotten a lot better.
I'm trying.
So
I'm
I
trying.
feel like these last since the pandemic, because the pandemic broke up a lot of people, right? Since the pandemic, it's like it brought us closer. We both still in shock. Like
Yeah.
we just said this a couple of days ago. Like, can you believe? Because we were going through it right before the pandemic. Like, can you believe that we got stuck in the house with each other and it actually like brought us closer?
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. That is for sure. So,
Okay, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I got one more question and we're gonna end it with this. What are your goals for 2023?
relationship wise or in general?
In general, like what are your top three goals for 2023?
Uh, buy a house, have my wedding because we had always said, we want to have a house first. Like we did everything out of order. Kids came first, and now we're just like, we need a house. Like,
Yeah.
and then we'll worry about the rest later. Um, so the house, the wedding, and I want to start my own podcast next year. So
Okay.
top three.
Definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Definitely go for it. My husband actually started a podcast since I started. Um, and it's easy to set up, really. You don't, need a whole lot to get started. So the setup, quick and easy. Just get what you're gonna talk about, you know, um, get your topics and just go from there. Something I'm working on though is my husband says I sound like a teacher. Like a teacher.
Um,
It's like you always sound like you're lecturing. I'm like, but I am. It's like it needs to be more conversational. So I would definitely like my advice would be like make it like you're talking to like a friend.
yeah. Well, I think I'd be okay with that part.
Right, right.
Talk to anybody, like, and everybody. My friends hate it. They say that I'm the mother of the group, and 'cause,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am. Like,
Mm-hmm.
try to help, and then you don't listen, and then it just eats me alive if I can't say I told you so, because I did technically tell you so.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you anything wrong. If I'm telling you this, it's probably because I already been through it. But
Right, right.
everybody wants to see for themselves nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. And they got to sometimes so they
Yeah.
can learn. Sometimes you gotta bump your head so you can learn. But
Mm-hmm.
I think those are some really good goals. Like putting it in the air, manifestation. She gonna get her house, she gonna get her dream wedding, and she gonna have a bomb podcast.
Yes. Period.
Period. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun. Like I enjoyed having an adult conversation for once.
Oh, we got to start doing that more often because talking to little people all day just is gonna make us crazy.
Oh my god, my goodness. And like I said, my husband is a talker, but sometimes I talk to another woman.
Yes. Yes, and all my friends, most of them ain't moms.
Oh yeah, and that'd be a big difference. Certain
Yep.
things they won't relate to. Yeah, I definitely understand. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on, giving me your time, speaking to my audience, lending some great advice. I really like when you said doing the check-in every 3 months when it comes to your relationship. Um, I feel like you're doing a phenomenal job, really. Like it just seems like you got it together. Your relationship is good. Even though it has some challenges, your relationship is good. Your motherhood journey is good. Like I can tell, you're really happy. Like I
Yeah.
can I can tell that. So I think that is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yes. I'm trying to get there, girl.
Ain't we all?
Yes. It's all right. It's a never ending journey.
So, before we go, definitely shout out your business information. Where can we find you and your blog?
Okay, so for TikTok, no, yeah, TikTok, mamas underscore insight, MAMAS_insight. For Instagram, it's just Mama's Insight. For Pinterest, it's just Mama's Insight. And for my website, it's mamasinsight.com.
All right. All right. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Just type up Mama's Insight and you will see Arnetta.
Period.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. As always, you can follow me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Confidence After Dark. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.